Hello everybody, my name is Katie and I'm about to start my 6th year of teaching. I'm going to be teaching 3rd grade in the state of Florida, and today's video is one that I've been meaning to film for quite a while, and I'm so glad that this summer has given me the chance to come up to my classroom and film this. But I'm going to give you guys an updated video that gives you some of my top classroom must-haves. So if you're looking for things to buy for your classroom and you're wanting some opinions from a teacher, this is the video for you. Now, the reason I've been wanting to film this video for a while is because I actually already have a classroom must-haves video on my channel. However, I filmed it just about 3 years ago. So it was the first year that I had my channel. I filmed a top 5 classroom must-haves video, and let me tell you, people still watch that video today. Like if I look at my YouTube analytics, that's always up in like top watch this month. People are still watching that video, which is good because all of the 5 things that I mentioned in that video are still 5 of my top things. Like I went back and looked to see like, what did I mention in that video? And I don't regret putting any of those things in that video as a top 5 must-have. So if you have not seen that video already, I will link it above in the cards so you can go check out my original video, because I'm not mentioning any of those 5 things in this video. I didn't want to like repeat things. So go check out top 5 classroom must-haves. Today, I'm going to give you a little bit more than 5, but now I've been teaching for 5 years now. So when I filmed my first video, I had about 2.5 years under my belt. Now I've been teaching 5 years, and I've also moved classrooms twice since then. So I figured this was a really good time to sit down and film it, because I kind of went through everything I have in my room and I was like, what am I still using now that I've moved classrooms twice and I've changed grade levels? What are the things in my classroom that I would still say like, yes, this was a great purchase and I still use this on the regular per se? Because I feel like that's valuable. Some things work some years and some things work other years, and you're always gonna have objects like that and items that you purchase and ways you organize that change year to year. But these are some of the things that I have used no matter what classroom I've taught in, and I've taught in 3, and no matter what grade level, and I've now taught 2 different grade levels. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'm gonna take you around my classroom. It's currently in summer mode, so the desks are pushed aside, the chairs are pushed aside, there's stuff all over the counters. So it's not like set up, but I'm still gonna walk through and show you some of those must-have items if you're looking to buy some things for your classroom. And I will say before I get started, a lot of these things are linked in my Amazon storefront under classroom setup and teaching must-haves. So I'll mention that as I go through specific items as well. But if you're looking for a longer list, or you're like, what else could I buy for my classroom? My Amazon storefront is always listed in the description box for my videos, so you can go check out some of the other things I have in my room. All right, let's get started. All right, first up on my list are these black paper drawers. They are regular sterilite drawers. I'm pretty sure they're the 12-inch by 12-inch though, and I'll show you why that size is important. I labeled these with my Cricut before my very first year teaching. It's where I put all my weekly copies when I'm planning out my week. I usually do it on Fridays. I'll put all my copies in the drawers for the week. I've shared some information about this on my Instagram on how I organize papers, but I sort my copies in here, and right now they're empty. But the reason the 12 by 12 is important is because I stagger stack everything. So for example, let me grab some papers so I can like demonstrate. Okay, summer classroom is real. I don't have very many papers out and about. Here we go, here's the phonics paper. So if I wanted to use this for reading, I would stack it in my drawer like this, and then let's say I wanted to use this for like reading small group or something, and it was a copy, I can set it the opposite direction. If you get like the 8.5 by 11 or like the standard size drawers, you can't stagger stack it like that because they won't be wide enough. So that's why I'm pretty sure it's 12-inch by 12-inch. I could be wrong, but it's the wide version that's like a big square. I have 2 of them. Let me take these out so I don't lose these things in this drawer forever. I have 2 of them right here that I use for my weekly copies and then my extras. And then I also have 1 set over on my window ledge, kind of where I was talking to you guys earlier. And I just use that to keep extra notebook paper in for my students. It's like their little paper drawer that they can go to. So this is definitely a must-have. I've used it all 5 years, keeps me organized, keeps me sane, but make sure you get the wide version of the drawers. All right, my next classroom must-have is actually a Target dollar spot find. I try not to buy a lot of things from the dollar spot, but I do love to stock up on these paper trays. I use one of them for my turn-in tray, the light pink one, because light pink is my favorite color and I use the turn-in tray often. So that one sits on my counter on the other side of the room. I have one up on my counter over here that I use for my colored pencil sharpeners, so my handheld sharpeners, so they can sharpen their pencils over the bucket and then we can just empty the shavings out. And then the rest of them I usually keep here, and I know you might be thinking like they're empty, so why is this one of your must-haves? Well, I use these anytime I have supplies that I want to pass out. They are the best for like markers, colored pencils, if you're doing Valentine's stickers and they're like decorating their bags, or any kind of supply that you need your table group to use. I love these, and then here's why. The best part about them is they're not very deep. They're pretty shallow. I use these for manipulatives too, like inch tiles and place value tiles, because they're shallow so the kids can see in them. I have these buckets from Michael's that I shared in my last must-have, which I still use to hold right there lots and lots of manipulatives, but I prefer to use these on the table groups because they're shallow so the students can see in them. They don't have to grab the bucket and like tilt it to look inside, so it's easier for them to share. So I use these anytime we have a math manipulative that I'm putting out on the table, just about, and anytime we use markers or we're doing a craft, this is what I use to put the supplies out on their tables, and they are amazing. So if you're looking for something from the Target dollar spot, this is what I would recommend getting. I have about probably 7 or 8 of them. Again, I have 2 that have permanent homes, and then the rest I just keep in here for whenever we're working on projects. So that is definitely something that I think is worth investing in from the Target dollar spot. I'm sure you can get these trays somewhere else too that's not the Target dollar spot, because they're just kind of like regular turn-in trays, but these Target ones, I think they're like $3, and they're very sturdy and have held up because I've had these since I started teaching as well. All right, next up on my must-haves is the 3-tiered rolling cart. You can get these on Amazon, but mine are from Michael's. I have 2 of them. Actually, the other one's right behind me. How convenient. I have this one and this one. I use them for 2 different purposes. First off, I love that you can roll them and move them around, which means you can move them out of the way if you need to. This one is my small group cart. I have a whole reel on Instagram where I like walk you through what my small group cart looked like when I taught 1st grade, because I feel like I used it more in 1st grade than I did in 3rd grade, but 3rd grade I still like having this next to me for the supplies. On the top shelf, I keep all of my whiteboards for students, so if I'm teaching something in small groups and they need a whiteboard, I just pass those out real quick. And then on the middle shelf, I try to keep like curriculum things or decodable readers that we're gonna be working on. So right now it's just like my curriculum readers, which isn't very fun, but when I taught 1st grade, it would always have like a decodable text or story here, like the passage that we were working on with the phonics skill. Then the bottom is the goodies, like fun shelf. I have the little eyeballs they can use when they're reading. I have witch's fingers, and I have highlighters and like these little things from the Dollar Tree where you can like put them over a word or a line and it's very dusty and focus on it. And then dice in case I'm playing games, all kinds of things. So that's kind of what my small group cart looks like. The other one, and I've had this one since I think I got that my 2nd year teaching. And then this one I've had all the way since before I even started my 1st year, and I really need to clean it because this one is dusty. But I use this one for my students' take-home folders are always right here. And then I used to have my students turn in their homework here at my old school. So I don't use the homework tray as much this year because we grade our homework in class and then they put it in the turn-in tray, but I still use the folders. So every Monday when I want my kids to turn in their Friday folders, I'll set this kind of out in front of the doorway over here, so when they come in they remember, oh, that's part of my Monday routine is I put my folder in there. And then this is so nice because when I'm working on their folders and doing like their behavior or their AR points in their folders, I just wheel this cart over to my desk and the folders are here. I usually keep extras in the bottom of like their behavior charts, AR charts, so when a kid loses it or leaves it at home, or you know, I get a new student, I'm like, okay, here's an extra one and I can just slide it into a folder. So I definitely like these 3-tier carts. There's lots and lots of ways that you can use them, but again, my favorite is that you can roll it easily. So I can roll this out on Mondays when they need to turn their folder in, and then when it's not Mondays, it's usually sitting right there. I'll roll it away and then I roll it to my desk on Thursday to do my folders for Friday. So these rolling carts, they're really easy to put together. They come in lots of different colors. Just got it stuck on my skirt. But I would definitely recommend investing, like getting one. Think about how you're going to use it first, of course. But I definitely think this is a purchase that's worth it because I use these every single year. All right, my next teacher must-have is dry erase sleeves. I keep them in this little supply area with these Hobby Lobby baskets, but I have so many dry erase sleeves. So many. I'm sure you've seen these before. You just slide the paper in and then they can use a dry erase marker on it, and it turns any worksheet into something that's interactive, and you don't have to make multiple copies of it, so you can save copies from year to year. I use these all the time in my first grade small groups, all the time. We would circle phonics patterns, we would write words on them. I mean, like all the time. And then I do use them in third grade as well. Maybe not as much as I did in first grade, but there's always like a reason to have one of those on deck. I also use one for like my own personal small group schedule. So at my small group table, I have my schedule of groups and my list of groups in here for the whole week, like listed out. That way, once I finish day one, I can cross it out, and then at the end of the week, I like wipe it off. So it helps keep me on track and on schedule. I have a lot of student whiteboards too, and I keep those in here too, but my students all have one in their desk, so they can use that at any time during a lesson. But these are great for like different activities, task cards, things like that I want the students to practice. So I would definitely recommend investing in like one pack of these before your first year teaching, or if it's not your first year and you just don't have them, just buy a pack. They're not that expensive from Amazon, and I use them for a lot of things. I also use these for my house points. My school does a house system, and so I have them hanging in the front of my room with our house logos on it. So if a student gets a house point, they can put the tally on there with dry erase marker, and then we use Class Dojo to like keep track of all our points. So at the end of the week, I add all of the tallies that are on the dry erase sleeve for their house to their dojo house, if that makes sense. So I found that was like an easy way to do the house points for my classroom. So if you have like a house system at your school, or even table group points, it's a great way to have something that's like dry erase but not take up whiteboard space, because I know whiteboard space is like precious. So you can hang those with a command hook anywhere in your room and do that for table points or house points or something like that. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive my calendar because it still says May. It's June, and when you're watching this, it's probably July. Don't worry, I'll get it updated before school starts. But my next teacher must-have lives in my little teaching, or lives on my little teaching shelf that I have right here. So my smart board is right here in my classroom. This is like where I do a lot of my teaching from when I'm using the board. And so my next must-have is a wireless mouse that you can use on your smart board. I've had a couple different ones. One of them was just David's that he had that was left over and was actually broken. And then this one was in my new classroom. But I think getting a wireless mouse is a great investment because I love being able to control my smart board from here. Obviously, you need some kind of mouse so you can, manipulate, but you could get a corded one because I'm right here. But what I like to do with this one, usually it actually doesn't live up here. It'll be up here for a while, and then I take it to my small group table. So when I'm at the small group table with other students, if I need to pull something up, I can. If I'm here teaching a small group and I want to put up a timer that says there's 10 minutes left, so my students who are working independently know that, I can. If I need to adjust some background music, maybe we're listening to instrumental and I need to change the volume, I can do anything I need to do from my small group table, even though I'm not in front of the smart board. So a wireless mouse, 10 out of 10 would recommend. And I also have this keyboard. So a wireless keyboard is a great addition as well to kind of pair with the mouse to keep on your teaching station so you can type. It just makes it easy for me to teach from here with the document camera and not have to be in front of the board all the time if I'm manipulating a worksheet or something like that. So a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard are great investments, especially if you have a smart board device in your classroom, because I have used these in all of my classrooms. I've used a wireless mouse and keyboard. All right, my next classroom must-have is a good pencil sharpener. Forgive me that I can't like hold it up and be Vanna White for this whole clip, but it is plugged in. Oh, there we go. I can stretch the cord a little bit further than I thought. A quality pencil sharpener will save your life. I had a crappy one my first year and a half teaching, and then I finally used instructional money to buy a nicer one. Oh my gosh, I don't let students use it. This is just for me to sharpen students' pencils. But if you have a pencil sharpener and you're like, it works okay, I don't want to buy a new one, but it's not that great, buy a good one. This is the Exacto brand. I don't think they have this exact kind on Amazon anymore, but I've linked like the similar, I think they've changed the model up a little bit, but I've linked I'm pretty sure it's Exacto on my storefront. But a good pencil sharpener will literally change your life. I'm telling you. And then when I left Alabama, I didn't have that pencil sharpener. I had to leave it because I used school money. And some wonderful person bought me the pencil sharpener from my Amazon wish list. And I was so grateful, forever grateful. And this is the same one. If you take care of it, it lasts I use the sharpener, and I also have select students that I let use it in the afternoons when we're awaiting dismissal to sharpen. And then during the day, I tuck it back here behind this paper drawer that I was talking about earlier. I tuck it way back there so students can't use it, and they like literally can't get to it unless they like climb on the counters, and it's really obvious that they're trying to sharpen their pencil when they're not supposed to be sharpening their pencil. So that's where I hide it after I have sharpened pencils. All right, and the final must-have for today's video are student mailboxes. This can come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Mine is massive. This is a massive student mailbox thing. It's made with like that particle board wood. It is very sturdy, very heavy duty, and I got it before my first year of teaching, so it's lasted. There's nothing that's really broken. I've moved it to 2 different classrooms, so I'm really grateful for that. This year I added the numbers on the trays using binder clips, and then I cricketed the numbers on, and that was a smart decision, very smart. In years past, I put like stickers on the outside, and that worked fine too, but they would peel off. But this is like, now I feel like my mailboxes are in their prime because like of the numbers. But anyways, when I first got this my first year, I had no idea where I was going to teach, how long I was going to teach, how many students I was going to have. So I ordered this massive one so I would have lots of spaces. As you can see right now, I have, well, you might not be able to see, but I have 24 spaces. That doesn't include the bottom 3, and it doesn't include this whole shelf. So I have 8 on each. So 8 times 4 would be 32. I have enough for 32 students. I have the extra one stacked down here, and I use this side just for extra supplies. I've got sticky notes, highlighters, index cards. So if you buy like a big heavy duty one and you don't use all of the slots, that's fine. But you don't have to buy one that's this big, and you don't even have to buy one that's like particle board wood. They sell a lot that are cardboard, and when I interned, my internship teacher had blue ones that were made out of like sturdy cardboard, and they worked great. But this is how I like file all my student work that needs to go home in their Friday folders. And then I had a parent volunteer this last year come in and stuff the folders, and when I was in first grade at other schools, my kids would come to the mailboxes, take their papers out, and then they would put it in their folder on their own. So again, this is the system that works for me. I have used this all 5 years of teaching. Some people prefer to use like a big milk crate and just do files for student work, and I have that for like student documents, but for student work, I prefer the mailboxes because my first 4 years, I involved the students in actually taking their things out of the mailbox. So for me, when I was starting, I was in first grade, and I was like, I just don't think a first grader can find their file in a milk crate as easy as they can find their shelf on a mailbox. So I was like, mailboxes. And this one, because this one was so huge and like so fancy, it was definitely investment, like $100 or something. I don't even remember the price, but it was $100 or more. I'm not even kidding you. But like I said, you can find versions that aren't quite as sturdy that will still get the work done and will still be a wise investment because it will still last for a long time. I just kind of went overboard and bought like the nicest, fanciest one. But it's one of those things that I did go overboard on my first year of teaching, but I don't regret because I really love this mailbox. And I love that I have like extra shelves and it's very versatile, exactly what I need. So this is my last like teaching must-have. All right, so that is it for my teaching must-haves, things you need for your classroom part 2. I hope those were helpful for you. If there's anything that you have in your classroom that you're like, I have used this since I started teaching, please drop it in the comments below. We can keep a running list going in the comments. But again, these are things that I felt like have been a great investment. I've used for multiple years, have helped me stay organized. Just great things to have in your classroom. And again, make sure you check out part 1 of this video, or part 1, the original of this video, because I share 5 other things that I also still use. So I will, again, I've linked that up in the cards for you guys so you can go check that out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have lots of teaching content that I put out, teacher vlogs, tip videos, just fun lifestyle vlogs, and I'd love to have you guys join. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.